If you think the tailbone is unnecessary, I will pay to have yours removed. Especially for you, AJ. You're going to find out real quick why you need that thing. Okay? The atheists, stand up. Come on, where's the evidence? How did this evolve? Don't give me a story. Show me some science. They won't do it. Just like my Making Baby series, they're not touching it.
I made a video responding to that series on the frog that keeps eggs in its back.
Oh, I think, yeah, you're good, Kat.
Who's talking? I can't hear him.
Well, let's do this. Actually, okay, so what we'll do, Praise, thank you so much, just to keep order in the court here. Praise, appreciate the questions. Let's now move, since we do got a nice mix of evolutionists, creationists. We just had a creationist give some feedback, a couple questions. AJ, we'll move to you now. Good to have you. I appreciate your time here. And we'll allow you to engage Kent. Gentlemen, let's do our best to stick to the creation evolution topic and not get into anything outside that, just to avoid the video getting flagged or having any issues or anything like that. So let's go. Let's have some fun. Rumble in the debate dojo. AJ, firstly, how you doing tonight? Secondly, what would you like to discuss?
Oh, I'm good. For your sake, Donnie, I won't ask the question I was going to ask, but I was just saying that I made a video response to that Making Baby series about the frog that stores its eggs in its back. So now you know, Ken.
Oh, yeah. First of all, you're the last one should make a series on making babies, okay? But the idea that the frog had babies come out of its back, you made a video about it. Well, that proves I'm wrong right there. Man, if you made a video on that.
No, why did you say I'm the... Okay. Why did you say that I'm the last person that should make a video on making babies, Ken?
Okay, well...
Why do you immediately go there?
Gentlemen, I think if we go any further on that...
No, I want to know, Kent. You said that I'm going to find out why the tailbone is not vestigial soon. What did you mean by that?
The tailbones, there are several of them. There are quite a few muscles that attach to them that are essential for reproduction. Okay, the males of the animal, of almost all the animals, have to stimulate for the injection of the semen, which contains the sperm, into the female. And without those bones and those muscles that control the tailbone control those muscles and that movement that is usually necessary for this to happen. So it's not vestigial.
But why did you say that I'm going to find that out soon?
Well, I think you know why, AJ. You claim to be homosexual. So you just deal with that yourself, okay?
No, I want you to explain what you meant by that.
Well, let's not go into any more detail. AJ, let's, to be fair, have a response to that. And then let's transition right into the evidence for evolution or something that has been discussed throughout the night. We'll go back and forth on that. We'll have some good, cordial dialogue. But to be fair, AJ, go ahead. Real quick response. And then let's shift it back to evidence for evolution.
Well, I mean, I don't see why Kent gets to make these slap and run comments and then hide behind, oh, I don't want to get the video demonetized or something. Like he should stand by what he says instead of hiding behind these jabs and sniping comments.
Okay, Donnie, he's not going to give up on this, okay? He's determined to defend his lifestyle. Actually, it's a death style. Talk about slap and run. AJ, your whole channel is about me, slapping me and running. Your whole channel is that way. AJ, call Donnie, schedule a debate. I'll do one with you every day, okay? On the evidence for evolution. Where's the evidence for your religion? Bring the best one. You don't have any. There is none. You have a dumb religion, AJ. You've chosen to believe you came from a rock and you're related to a banana. You've chosen to believe that because you like the freedom it gives you from God's rules. That's why you've chosen that religion. There's no science behind what you believe. No.
Well, maybe a scientist can explain why God put the male G-spot inside the anus, but I'm not the one that brought this up, so I'll move it on to somebody else. I wanted clarification on what Kent said. That's all.
Well, okay, so everybody got their comments on that issue. AJ, is there something you wanted to bring up in terms?
I did have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you say that evolution is a religion and atheism is also a religion. So does that mean that I have two religions?
No, you might have 20 religions. I don't know what all you believe. Yeah.
How can somebody have two religions?
You can have as many religions as you want. You believe there's no God. You can't possibly know that. You believe that. Okay, you can believe that. It's fine. That's a religious belief. You believe dogs and bananas and you are related. Do you believe you're related to a banana, AJ?
I've answered this question so many times, Kent. Bananas aren't living things, so it's a stupid question.
Bananas
Banana
aren't
isn't a living
things?
organism. No, a
Okay.
banana plant is a living organism, not a banana. A banana is a
so
fruiting body of a
related-
plant. You've been told
are you
this so many times, but you're just you don't learn. You don't want to learn anything, so you just want to repeat the same script over and over again because you think it's true.
I enjoy making fun of the answer you guys give. Okay, are you related to a banana plant?
Yeah, you like making fun of people. You don't want to answer questions in good faith and actually respond to questions. You just
I'll be
dodge
glad to answer
questions and
questions.
insult people.
I believe that evolution and the idea that you're related to a banana plant
Is dumb.
Yeah, and
you're very predictable, Ken.
It's a religious belief. And yes, I
No,
enjoy
it's not.
making fun of it. I think it's really enjoying. AJ, you should come over to my side and see how fun it is to make fun of the stupid religion of evolution. It's a lot of fun. And I'm going to keep doing it till I die. And after that, my videos are going to keep going. So killing me won't do any good. Okay, go ahead. What's your question? What's your evidence? How about?
Okay, Tiktaalik.
What, Tiktaalik?
Yeah, why did the paleontologists who found Tiktaalik, why did they know exactly where to dig to find it?
Why? I don't know that they did know exactly where to dig to find it. There's no such thing as.
Didn't they?
Do you believe the layers of the earth are different ages, the geologic column, AJ?
They predicted where to dig by narrowing it down from 3 different spots, and they went there and they dug it up and found the fossil they were looking for. Why were they able to do that?
I think that the layers of the earth are probably sorted based upon density. Different materials are different density. I think that the creatures in those layers may be sorted based upon 4 common sense reasons. Maybe the clams are found at the bottom because clams are already at the bottom when the flood starts. Maybe there is a sorting to the fossils based upon their body density, based upon their habitat, based upon their intelligence, based upon their mobility, but not based upon their evolution. Nobody's ever seen a clam produce a non-clam. But you guys want to have the clam turn into a fish, or turn into a bird. This geologic column is your Bible. It's retarded. There is no geologic column. If the layers are different ages, answer my question, where are these layers coming from? Moving it from here to here, erosion instead, it doesn't change the age. Why do you believe the layers are different ages? Are they coming from outer space?
You didn't answer my question.
Tiktaalik.
So they were able to find it because they knew about the flood sorting? Is that what you're saying?
No. Tiktaalik is a fish. Usually, fish would be found in the same layers if there was a flood that drowned a bunch of stuff, it would sort them out, and fish might be found in the same layer because they have similar body density to other creatures. Maybe it's based upon their habitat. They already live in the water. So I don't know. First of all, I don't know that they knew where to dig to find it. If that's the case, why don't they know where to dig to find gold and get rich? Okay.
They do.
So no, you're mistaken. Tiktaalik is not evidence for evolution. It's a fish that had short limbs before the fins, and they're saying it could walk on land. We don't know that. There are fish today that get out and walk on land. Yeah. Are they evolving into something?
It would seem so.
You have a fish buried in layers with trees as well.
I didn't catch that, Donnie. What did you say?
Well, let's do this, Andrew. Let's go one at a time. AJ,
go.
Kent, very good. AJ, feel free to stick around. We'll now start moving around the room. We'll go Apologetics 101. From my understanding, he had one question. And then, Andrew, you're next. And so that way we're kind of mixing things up, creationists and evolutionists. Okay. Right. Actually, before you do, we got a packed house. So I got 10 up on stage. I see people also joining in the back. We can only do 10 at a time. Okay. So anyway, Brian, go ahead, brother. Good to have you.
Okay. Yes. Could go ahead and let someone else go next, and then I'll come back in. My wife is calling for me, and she does not know that I'm on here.
Sure.
All right. Thanks.
No worries. No worries, Brian. We'll see you in a bit. Okay, let's go Josh then. We'll go Josh and then Andrew. So let's see. Josh, good to have you, brother. How you doing? And what's your question, my man?
Good. I just want to make one quick comment before my question, if that's okay. I think when Kent says things like you're going to find out, it has to do with him proving and showing evidence for a particular vestibular organ still being necessary. And I don't think it has to do with anything like he's going to try to come after you. AJ. So I don't know if that's the claim you were trying to make, but I think when he says that, he's just, this is what it is. I'm going to explain it to you.
Okay, I'm not coming after anybody. I'm just pointing out, if you had your tailbone removed, you would quickly find out why that was a mistake.
Okay. Now on to my question. So I don't know a lot about like the different types of like humans, like Homo sapiens and Homo erectus, and those different types of like humans. Are those examples of evolution, or is that like genetic mutation amongst the same human species, like we know each other today? How do we consolidate that?
Yeah, well, the evolutionists teach that man came through a stage of, apes and chimpanzees and gorillas and orangutans. They teach there's an improvement. I got slides on that someplace here. I think it's number. I got so many. It took me a while to find it. But watch my video number 2, where I talk about what the Garden of Eden was like and where the so-called cavemen fit in. There are people still today living in caves, okay? But there's no evidence that Homo sapiens came from something other than Homo sapiens. If they wish to believe they came from a monkey or a chimpanzee or orangutan or bonobo or whatever, that's fine. Believe what you want. But that's not science. We don't ever see a monkey produce a non-baby monkey. Don't ever see it. It doesn't happen. You can imagine it. That's why I got SpongeBob behind me all over the place. Evolution is imagination. Just imagine if we had billions of years, this could happen. Well, first of all, you don't have billions of years. That's easy to prove. Secondly, we don't see it happening today. There are billions of cows in the world. I don't know about billions, probably billions. They're always making baby cows every time. I mean, every time. There's a variety. Some are big, some are small, some give more milk, some have more beef, but they're always cows. And they always have hair, never feathers. So if you're to believe something, you can believe what you want. That's why I keep pointing out, and they don't like this, and they won't like it again. Evolution is a religion. It's a really dumb one, but you're welcome to it. I don't care what your religion is. But don't call it science. And don't teach it in a science book.
You said Homo sapiens have always produced Homo sapiens, but I think, Donnie, in the past, I've seen you show some charts which kind of show the genetic markers or indications where they've actually found a Neanderthal or something like that, and it shows how closely related we are. Did we have like some sort of speciation within Neanderthals and Homo erectus, or are those just completely different non-human primates?
If it's for Donnie, he can answer. But the fact that there are some similarities in the DNA structure of humans and chimpanzees, well, it probably takes a whole lot of code to build a finger. I bet the computer code to make a mechanical finger like this work would be millions of lines of code in a computer system just to make a finger bend, okay? So to make your finger bend in your DNA code probably takes millions of lines of code. Now, chimpanzees also bend their fingers. Whoa. I bet they got a lot of similar lines of code to accomplish the same thing. That's not proof they're related to each other. It's proof they got the same designer that used the same code to bend the fingers. So sure, there are similar codes in the DNA and the chromosomes. It doesn't prove their relationship. It proves the same designer. They don't want that designer because that designer has rules. Oh, they don't want that. So they'll deny he exists. Okay?
Right. Rather than accepting the evolutionist classification, Homo neanderthalensis, Homo erectus, Homo floresiensis, we would just say they're all humans. Homo sapiens. They're not different species. So I agree with Kent. Oh,
there's only one race. There's only one race of humans, okay? The human race. There are different skin colors. There's different colors of dogs. There's different colors of cows. There's still a cow. So, and humans have always produced humans, no exceptions, none. If you wish to believe otherwise, you believe what you want, but stop calling that science. I can call up my pictures. I've got on video number 2, I've got all the so-called cavemen that they got lined up as evidence for evolution. I'll call it up real quick here. So again, I point out, look, I don't care what you believe, but it's not science. That's all. It's a religion that they believe in, and they believe it strongly, and they will defend it like Hamas defends their religion. No question. They really believe it. I don't question their sincerity or their belief. I just say it's not science. That's all. Okay.
The last thing I'll say is I always hear people, they try to like anticipate or predict what it is that you're gonna say, or they always accuse you of having the same spiel. But I would just say to that maybe he's just consistent, and maybe it's just the truth. You know, maybe you need to start accepting it instead of just predicting what you think he's gonna say.
Yeah, their argument is Hovind has the same response every time. Well, I think all mathematicians do the same thing, don't they? 2 + 2 has been 4 for a long time. Are they supposed to change it once in a while to make it more true? It's true that cows produce cows. That's every farmer in the world will tell you that. You wish to believe otherwise? I'm going to keep saying it too. Cows produce cows, dogs produce dogs, humans produce humans. There are no exceptions. So anything other than that is something they choose to believe. It's not science. I'm trying to find my section in seminar 2 about cavemen, but trust me, it's in my video number 2.
I'll look it up later. Okay.
And for AJ, I will send you a set of my tapes for free for Christmas. Send your address to Joseph, or post office box if you don't want to give your address. Give it to Joseph. We'll send you a set for free. Okay. I pray for you. I'm concerned for you. I think people in your situation oftentimes get suicidal. I don't want to see that. I want to see you come to the Lord, just so you know. Go ahead.
Yeah, I somehow doubt that. But the field of mathematics is updated all the time. And just because you say the same thing doesn't mean, I mean, I know you think it's true, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't upgrade your presentation at all, ever. Like if you have slides that make jokes about Bill Clinton, don't you think those are a little bit outdated?
AJ, I spend 5 hours every day of my life adding PowerPoint slides, making new slides, updating my presentation. I work very hard at this. I now have over 50,000 slides that I use, and some of them are old. I agree. I don't update all 50,000 every day, okay? But I take this very serious. I try to keep up to date. I work on it very hard. I published new slides that I got just before this seminar, just before tonight's message. I went on, got new slides of what they're still teaching in the textbooks. That's not true. So I say, look, if you wish to believe in evolution, great. So no, when I taught mathematics, I never had to update my teaching that 2 + 2 was 4. Never had to update it. Probably never will, because it is. When you teach trigonometry, sine, cosine, tangent, you teach about the different angles and how this angle changes and this side has to change and this side changes, and SOHCAHTOA, sine, all that stuff. I taught that for years, and biology. Some things just simply don't change. So the fact that I've got a slide from 1999 that could it still possibly be true? Why do I have
Not if it says Bill Clinton is the president?
When I made that seminar, he was the president. It was true. What, was Bill Clinton ever the president?
Yeah, he was. I'm just saying that.
And when I did that, when I made that slide, and when I used that point, and when I made that video, he was president. I'm sorry.
And I wasn't talking about basic addition either. I'm talking about mathematics at the highest levels. They develop new theorems and new discoveries are made.
Do you think there's going to be a new mathematics come along to change the fact that 2 + 2 is 4?
No, that's what I just said.
Okay, good. All right. Donnie, who else you got? AJ wants to hold the whole conversation. He's got his own little channel, and he wants everybody to come over to see his. I'll promote it for you. Atheist Junior. Okay, go ahead.
Well, more people watch me anyway than you. So.
Well, from my understanding, we're going to get the much anticipated round 4, 5, one of those coming up. So, okay, let's go Andrew now. Andrew's been waiting patiently. Andrew belongs on the evolutionist side. So
we can fix that.
Yeah, we're going to fix that right now, Andrew. So, Andrew, firstly, how you doing? Secondly, what point would you like to engage with Kent?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Is my audio coming in okay? I was having some internet lagging issues earlier, apparently. So
coming in good now.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, sorry about that. So what I kind of want to talk about was the point I was trying to make with the question I posed earlier regarding the order in which organs evolved. It at least seemed like Kent was originally making the argument that all these organs had to be in place at the same time in order for an organism to function or live properly. I don't know if Kent is still making that argument, so I want to clarify that and to clarify the argument I was trying to make.
Andrew, one topic at a time. Okay. Yes, I believe the organs that he mentioned, the skeletal system, digestive system, reproductive system, have to be at the same time. There are some creatures that don't have some of those things. And if somebody wishes to arrange them in some kind of fictitious order, claiming this one turned to this, that would be a religious belief. That's not observable scientifically. So, yes, I believe the symbiotic relationships of all of the 11 systems that humans have had to be designed. Each system is complex. Getting them to work together is really complex. Your digestive system works with your circulatory system. That's amazing. So if you want, if you wish to,
but you did say that they had to be all together in order for it to function, right?
Well, in humans, yes, you have to have all the systems. Some parts can be missing. I bet your car would still run without the fenders on it. Okay.
So this only applies to humans, not all organisms.
Well, I think nearly all organisms are designed so that they probably could run without a few things. I bet you could drive on a flat tire for a while too. Okay. But that doesn't prove it's not designed. You want to say, evolutionists often want to say, because we can live without the appendix, or because we can live without our tonsils or adenoids or whatever, therefore we evolved. No, I think that's evidence it was amazing design so that it could run. Somebody built a car one time that any tire could go flat, it would still run level. It was perfectly balanced to run on any 3 tires. I forget who did that, some Italian company or something, but that's cool. I think that it's evidence of design. So if humans can live without one of their fingers, or 2 of their people can live without both their arms, yeah, and both their eyes. That I don't think they like it, but they can. That's not proof it evolved, though. So do you have any evidence of any system coming onto the scene, not that you can live without it? Where's the evidence of one developing?
Well, because organ systems, let me put it this way. Organ systems don't typically arise de novo. They are modified from pre-existing tissues. So there's this whole field called evolutionary developmental biology that deals with that.
Now, one topic at a time. So you're saying the organ systems developed from something that was pre-existing?
Yes.
First of all, are there any limits to how far it can develop? And do we see this happening?
There are physical limits to organismal evolution, yes. They're the laws of physics.
There are some creatures that have a 3-chambered heart and some have a 4-chambered heart, like humans.
Yes.
Is there evidence of one changing to the other? Or do you just want to put
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Has anybody ever seen a creature with a 3-chambered heart produce babies that had a 4-chambered heart?
No, but we wouldn't expect that in a single generation.
Okay, so you imagine it happened over a long period of time, but that's not science. We don't see it happening. The ones that have a 3-chambered heart are still having babies with a 3-chambered heart every time.
Well, the argument that I was specifically responding to was because I hear this argument often that such and such structure is necessary, so it couldn't possibly have evolved, or that it was impossible to evolve in a certain order. So not necessarily that it did evolve a particular way, but that it couldn't have evolved at all. And that's what I was trying to show with these organisms, these examples that lack these structures, that no, they're not necessary.
Well, you may think some structures are not necessary. Is it necessary for you to have 2 arms?
For a human, yeah, but a flatworm doesn't need arms. A flatworm doesn't need a heart either.
Sure. Maybe and I bet if they have babies, they're just like mom and dad. So you want to believe because we can arrange animals in some kind of order, those without arms to those with arms, therefore, those without arms had to evolve to those with arms. That's where it's not science. We don't observe this.
That's not the argument I was making.
Well, okay. Science is what we can observe and study and test. Okay. Where is the observation that I can observe of any animal changing to something else, getting a new feature, for example?
I already answered that.
You did already answer that?
Yes.
Not an intelligible answer. Where is the scientific evidence?
Well, I guess that's your opinion, sure. Yeah, I already said that supposedly what we may interpret as new structures are modified tissues that were already there. So, for example, to give an example, the anglerfish Fish's lure, when you look at it developmentally, it develops from the first dorsal fin ray, so it migrates during development. So it's not really a new structure; it was just exapted for a new function.
Okay, I guess I didn't understand which particular tissue or organism you're talking about. What migrates now? What is it?
The
migrates?
anglerfish, the bioluminescent lure on the anglerfish, it initially during its development, embryonic development, starts out as a dorsal fin ray. So the fin rays along the back of the fish, and it migrates up towards the head and becomes the lure that it uses to catch
becomes
fish.
a lure, right? That's pretty cool, isn't it? That's pretty cool how that works. I did my Making Baby series on the anglerfish. Has anybody ever seen an anglerfish produce a non-anglerfish baby?
No, but that's not the argument I was responding to.
The fact that one of the back fins migrates up and becomes the lure is pretty cool design. Do you think that? Do you have any evidence that it never was that way in the past? What we see is anglerfish make baby anglerfish all the time. Now you want to?
Well, I kind of said that though. It starts out as a fin ray and develops into the lure. That shows it wasn't the lure initially.
Well, no, it doesn't. It shows that it was still the lure and not done developing yet. It's like when you go to Ford Motor Company and see a bunch of steel parts laying there. It's not a car yet. They didn't put it together. So you don't know that fin on the back evolved into the lure on the front. It was designed to do that from the beginning. I bet if you could.
What is your evidence for that claim? That it was designed to develop like that?
Well, I don't have to prove the creation model. I'm not asking it to be taught in schools. You guys want to believe that because one of the rays of one of the fin rays.
You kind of are. The burden of proof is on you. You're the one making the claim here. So support it.
You guys want us to all pay for these textbooks to teach evolution, and you want to use that as evidence that the anglerfish. I bet if we could decipher the code, the DNA code of the anglerfish, it's written in that code someplace, which is difficult to read, that this fin ray is going to move up and gradually migrate to the front forehead and become a lure to catch other fish. Maybe that's been in the code from the very beginning. Maybe it was designed that way to do that.
I mean, that's not exactly how developmental genes operate.
Oh, well, tell me, has anybody ever seen an anglerfish produce a non-baby anglerfish?
I already answered no.
Okay, so the answer is no. Why do you believe the anglerfish came from something that was non-anglerfish? Do you believe these family trees where everything came from a protozoa or an amoeba? Do you believe the anglerfish came from a protozoa over billions of years?
And protozoans are a specific clade, so no.
Okay, a single-cell creature.
They developed from a more primitive eukaryotic cell, yes.
That's where I'd like to know the scientific evidence for you making that statement. You say it developed from something that was primordial. Where's the science for this? Let's take a single-cell creature. Which one you want to start with? Amoeba, protozoa, bacteria, whichever one. Did one of those single-cell creatures evolve into the lure of the anglerfish over many generations? Is that what you believe?
Into the lure? No, that's not how.
Into the whole fish. The whole fish came from a single-cell creature. Is that what you believe?
Not from those organisms. No, they're modern organisms.
Okay, let's see. Let me get to.
Such a
amoeba isn't a catch-all term for all eukaryotes.
Okay, let's see. This one doesn't have an anglerfish. Let me call one up here. This chart has all the fish together. Fish and humans and birds all coming from a single-celled creature. Usually they say something like a protozoa, like this textbook teaches. This is a junior high textbook. I got college textbook.
No, it's not a protozoan.
Okay. Do you believe this chart represents, here we have the fish on here. Do you believe the fish came from a single-celled creature of some kind?
Yes.
Okay. What's your evidence for that? That's what I'm saying. You guys are welcome to believe this. I don't care. But quit calling it science. It's not science. It's a religion. You believe these charts.
Well, you can compare the genes, for example, and connect them using phylogenetic algorithms. Okay.
If the gene code of a single-celled creature has some similarities to the fish, that doesn't prove evolution or even give evidence for evolution.
Not just the similarities, the differences as well.
Okay, or the differences. I bet Chrysler, when they produce their cars, might have a few differences to how Ford does it. So they're still producing a car.
So let me ask you a follow-up question based on, because you did mention that there are some companies that produce free-wheeled cars, for example. Right.
Yeah.
So so you're basically making the claim that there are similarities between cars, and that can be due to design. And so there are similarities between biological organisms, so that could have been due to design. But what about, like you said, those examples of cars with free wheels or other cars with different engine parts? These designers can swap parts between different manufacturers. We don't see that in living things. You don't see you don't see, for example, a flowering plant or what?
Wait, Andrew, we swap parts all the time. I can eat.
Yes,
olives.
human designers do that.
I can eat the plants and take the parts from the plant and make it part of my body. I bet you've been doing that all your life, eating things other than humans.
That's not what I was saying. That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about the characters we use to define those organisms.
Okay, well, if is there any engine on planet Earth ever, V8, V6, straight 8, straight 6, V12, a rotary engine, Wankel engine, is there any engine ever that didn't have a designer?
No, but you can have similar vehicles that have multiple designers. So what does that show? That designers can swap different parts between their product?
Yeah, if you want to argue there's multiple gods that did it, that's a different argument. The fact is there has to be a designer between every living thing on the planet. If you wish to imagine that you're related to a protozoa like this textbook teaches, I say more power to you. But don't put it in science class. That's a religious belief.
Despite the fact that we don't see the same pattern that you just mentioned in cars, in living things, that's the point I was trying to make. We don't see that swapping of, you can take a part from this car, from this manufacturer, and use it in this car from a totally different manufacturer, and it'll still function just fine. You don't see that in living things. You don't see mammals with feathers, for example, or these kind of chimeric organisms that we see in mythology, for example. You don't see that.
We do see that. Have they ever done things where they take like an ape's heart or something and put it into a human? Has there been a lot of experimentation with parts of animals being put into humans that need something? I think you need to study some science on that.
I mean, the organisms as they exist in their natural environment.
Well, like I said, in my natural environment, I eat plants and animals. Let's see, I eat pieces of the pig, the cow, the chicken, and they turn into Kent Hovind.
But your cells don't photosynthesize, do they?
My cells don't photosynthesize. No, I think plants are. That's amazing the way they do that.
That's my point. And no other animals have cells that photosynthesize, do they?
I don't know. There are some animals. I think there have been some studies about some animals that have green, with some sort of photosynthesis in the animal world.
They absorb the algal cells and use them for that kind of symbiotic relationship, but their own cells don't photosynthesize. No.
They grab the cell because that cell is so complex that that does able to photosynthesis. That cell is so complicated, it had to have a designer. So the animal is able to capture that and use it for itself. That's amazing, isn't it? Almost makes you want to praise God. Makes me want to praise him.
Gentlemen, let me jump in here. We could probably do a full debate between you two. Just because yeah, let's do it. That'll be fun. Andrew, stick around, as we will be doing probably about an hour open mic after this. I don't want it to go too much longer than 3 hours. Kent only has a few more minutes with us anyway, so let's give Brian.
Sorry, I meant to go shorter there. But
that's okay. That's okay. I want to give as much time as possible to at least those from the evolution side to go back and forth with Kent in impromptu debate. So that's good. It's been a good amount of time. Okay, Brian, good to have you back. How you doing? What's your question for Kent?
Awesome. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, awesome. All right. My question for Kent has to do with Haeckel's embryos. But before I get to that question, I have another one. You collect textbooks. Do you still do that all the way up to present dated textbooks?
When I a lot easier to do. But yeah, people send them to me once in a while. I was just looking today real quickly over my collection. I got a 2017 biology textbook. I was hoping I had some newer ones. If you can get some newer biology books, I'd love to see them. I guarantee they're still teaching the same lies. They have nothing else.
That's what I was going to ask.
I was in a debate with an atheist one time, and I mentioned all the lies in the textbooks. And this atheist said, well, folks, Kent Hovind's right. But he said, Hovind, what are you going to replace all this with? I said, folks, what we're trying very hard to not say is, if we took all the lies out of the textbooks, we wouldn't have anything left to support our theory. So you got to come up with evidence for my theory. That's what he was trying very hard not to say. There is no evidence for this evolution religion, none. It's not my job to find evidence for their theory. I point out this is wrong. The embryo doesn't have gill slits. Take it out of the book. Are any of you atheists on this channel tonight working on getting that out of the books? Or why are you so worried about shutting down my channel or correcting me on stuff? Are you worried at all about the lies in your textbooks? Just take the embryos. Proven wrong since 1874. Why don't you go march in front of your public school and say, take this page out of the book? Why don't you do that, you hypocrites? Go ahead.
Well, my question was on Haeckel's embryos. I was wondering if they were still teaching that in the present day textbooks, or have they started taking it out, or what?
Tell you what, you Google I Googled embryology 2.5 hours ago, and yes, they're still teaching it at many universities, probably all of them. Let's see, where's embryology? This is stuff that I just got tonight. I'd love to have some new textbooks. If you got some, send them to me. I'll put them in my collection. Embryology. Here it is. This was right here. From this evening, Khan Academy is still teaching this. Evidence of evolution from embryology. They're still teaching it here and here and here. Yes, this is as of 3 hours ago. Is that updated enough for you evolutionists? Now look, this is 1991. What they're going to do, instead of saying, wow, they're still teaching it, they're going to say, look, Hovind showed a 1991 slide. Aren't you? Yes, I did, because they haven't changed it. They haven't changed it in 30 years, and it's a lie. Those are not gill slits. It's not evidence for evolution. Why don't some of you grow a pair and get out in front of your local university and boycott? Why don't you boycott the universities that are still teaching this? Let's see. Here we go. Why don't you boycott them? Khan Academy. Say, look, why are you teaching this, guys? It's not true. Stop this. You won't do that. You're more worried about finding a contradiction in God's word than you are about correcting the science books. I know why, too. Go ahead.
I have a follow-up question. I interviewed Dr. Georgia Purdom recently, a geneticist and Answers in Genesis, and we actually talked about Haeckel's embryos. And they said that she said that some evolutionists would say that even though the drawings were fake, they still think the concept is true. What would you say to someone saying that?
I didn't understand part of your verbiage there.
I'm sorry. I was saying that Dr. Georgia Purdom said that some evolutionists would argue that even though the drawings are faked, the concept is true. What would you say to someone who is arguing that?
Okay, let's then start with step one. Let's get the drawings out of the book. Would you at least do that? Have any of you atheists spent any time going to your local school to see if they're still using Haeckel's drawings? Because if they are, this chart should be banned from public schools. This isn't
Books show
true.
microphotographs now. They have microphotographs. They don't have to show drawings.
Is it true that the embryos of all the creatures look alike? Here are actual photographs. They're not microphotographs. You don't need a microphotograph to see Haeckel lied. He admitted he lied. He confessed it in the university court that tried him. University court, he said, a small percentage of my embryonic drawings are forgeries. Those, namely, for which the observed material is so incomplete or insufficient to fill in and can reconstruct by hypothesis and comparative synthesis. He admitted that he lied. So my question remains that you're avoiding. Are any of you trying to get the drawings out of the books?
There aren't drawings. Modern textbooks have microphotographs of embryos, not drawings. I agree with you that they shouldn't have drawings in there, but that's why they have microphotographs of embryos now.
Are they still teaching the same concept that they are similar? Are they teaching with those microphotographs or that the embryos look similar at this stage when they don't? Are they still teaching this?
The reason that these look slightly different is because that they have things like a maternal yolk in the second embryo. But if you take that away, you'd see that they do look very similar on the second embryo.
You still believe this embryology is evidence for your religion, don't you, AJ?
It's not a religion. The Supreme Court ruled that it's not. No.
Okay. Call Donnie. Let's have a debate on that.
No, you're just wrong, though. I mean,
okay,
you can't define what a religion is.
You believe that these creatures, let's see, what do we have here? A fish, a salamander, a turtle, and a chicken, and a rabbit, and a human all have a common ancestor. Do you believe those creatures all have a common ancestor?
No, the question was, are textbooks showing Haeckel's drawings? And the answer is no, they show microphotographs.
You really don't get it.
Well, that was the question that you asked. That's what you've been asking.
The textbooks don't have drawings. I guarantee this is from the textbook. Let's see. Where is this one used? I'll call it back up for you here. And you'll complain about the age because they didn't update my drawings every minute to keep you happy. Okay.
Well, you're asking about modern textbooks. If you show old textbooks that did have the drawings, then yeah, they're going to have them. But if you're asking, do modern textbooks, why aren't you guys protesting the textbooks in schools today to say take the drawings out? It's because they use microphotographs. And I actually agree with you that they shouldn't use drawings, but they don't.
So you're claiming tonight, let me write this down. AJ is claiming that the Haeckel's drawings are not used in the textbooks anymore. Is that your claim?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if they are, then I agree they should be taken out.
If I prove you wrong,
will always be more
if I show you textbooks that are still using his exact chart, that they're using this chart that Haeckel made right here. Here's Haeckel's chart. This was used at the University of West Florida when I lived in Pensacola. That was Haeckel's drawings. They were using it at UWF just, 20 years ago. If I find some universities or schools that are still using this chart or textbooks, you're saying you will help me get that out of the book. Is that what you just said?
I'm not sure how I would help to get something out of a textbook, but sure.
Oh, yay. Good. Okay.
I have another follow-up question. Are abortion clinics still using the Haeckel drawings?
I don't know. They're still using the same concept that it's not a human yet. It's a fish. It's not a human. See, they say, just memorize the word farm, F-A-R-M. It goes from the fish to an amphibian to a reptile to a mammal. They say it goes through these stages in development because that's how creatures evolved. We started as a fish and became an amphibian, a reptile, mammal. That's the concept. Yes, abortion clinics are still using that. They'll say, lady, look, it's not a human yet. It's okay to abort your child. But if they want to have a double homicide to put somebody in trouble, then if a man shoots a pregnant woman in California, now they call it a double homicide. Well, why is it a double homicide? She had a baby inside of her. Oh, it's called hypocrisy. Okay. It's a human the instant it's conceived. A human being. It's not going to turn out to anything else. If you wish to believe
evidence that they say that it's a fish and not a human yet? Do you have any evidence that abortion clinics say that?
I don't know. I don't go to abortion clinics.
So, but you're saying it. You're claiming it like it's a fact.
I'm claiming they have to tell the mother it's not a human. Do they say, now, ma'am, we're going to kill this human baby inside of you? Do they say that? No, they're trying to make money off of this. They got to pay for their Mercedes. So they
you have no evidence that they tell people that it's a fish inside of them, that it's okay to abort it because it's not a human, it's a fish.
Well,
you have no evidence of that.
I'll do some research on that.
I don't believe you, because you said in my last debate with you that you would research if the two different species had different information, and I don't think that you did that research.
AJ, I really have to work for a living. I work awfully hard down here, okay? But I'm gonna just for you. Do abortion clinics teach Haeckel's drawings or Haeckel the concept that it's not a human? Let me ask you a simple question here before I follow up. Is a woman who's pregnant for 6 months, Is what's inside of her a human being?
Yeah, it's a fetus.
It's a fetus. Is
It's
it
a developing
human?
human.
Is it a human? Is it considered human at 6 months development?
Yeah, it's a developing human fetus.
Should a woman be allowed to kill it if she wants to?
That's kind of a nebulously formed question. I mean, should she be able to just kill it for no reason? No, but if her life is in danger and it's medically necessary, she should have access to abortion, I do think. Yeah. But just saying she should be able to kill it if she wants to is kind of dishonest way of asking the question.
Is that what most abortions are? Medically necessary? I agree. If the life of the mother is at stake, then better to lose one than both. Because if you lose the mother, you're going to lose both. I agree. But most abortions are not medically necessary for the life of the mother. They say, well, she's mentally, she can't handle another baby. Well, let's take one of the kids that's already born and kill that one instead, and let this new one come along.
So you agree, but you think abortion should be banned, though. So that would stop medically necessary abortions from happening.
Medically necessary abortions have always been fine. If it's really, truly medically necessary, and I don't mean mentally, oh, I can't handle another child. I mean, if the life of the mother is really at stake, she's going to die physically. If we don't do something, then yes, that would be the option. Just like if sometimes in a car accident, you can only get one person out. You do the best you can in those situations. I'd rather save one than neither one. So if it's truly a medical essential that the baby be killed to save the mother, but you need to admit, I'm sorry, ma'am, we're going to have to kill your child or you're going to die, and then you and the child are both going to die. So yes, but very few. Joseph, how many abortions are medically necessary for the life of the mother? Not the mental health of the mother, the life of the mother. It's very few.
Why is that the only time when it's okay?
Well, if you think a mother should be allowed to kill her baby before it's born, should the mother be allowed to kill the baby after it's born?
No.
What changed? That 10-minute trip down the birth canal changed, and now why don't we should she be allowed to abort it 5 minutes before it's born? Should that be legal?
No abortion happens 5 minutes before it's born. 90% of abortions happen before 21 weeks. Over 90%.
Should a mother be allowed to abort her baby 5 weeks before it's born?
No, and 90% of abortions happen before 21 weeks. So
okay,
it's just a dumb question.
Listen to my question.
I said no.
Should she be allowed to do it if she wants?
I said no.
Oh, good. Yeah,
and that very rarely ever happens, if ever.
Doesn't matter. Should she be allowed?
Yes, it does matter.
Well, under our current law, she would be allowed to kill it 5 minutes before it's born if she wanted.
No.
Do you agree?
Wrong.
That's what the law is now?
That is not what the law is.
At any time up until birth, the woman is allowed to abort her child. They don't do it. They could, though. Legally, they could.
No.
Okay.
That's why 90 to 95% of abortions happen before 21 weeks, which is before any nerve endings are formed in the baby or in the fetus, so it can't sense pain.
Oh, so
it has no sensory input.
So if we put somebody to sleep and then shoot him in the head, that's fine because they didn't feel anything.
No, that's just a dumb comparison.
That's the same logic.
No, it's not.
The question is it a human? At the moment of conception, it's got the 46 chromosomes and it's going to develop into a human unless somebody stops it. We could have a whole debate just on abortion, Donnie, if you'd like, but it's been 2 hours and I got other things to do here. But
thank you for answering my question, Kent. I appreciate it very much.
It resulted in some good debate, Brian. You did a good job, brother.
And Donnie, you're good at taking over for me, and I promised you 2 hours. Believe me, it's busy around here.
No worries. Kent, you did a great job. A lot of fun. 2 hours, session 9. We'll stick around. I have another session tomorrow. It's actually going to be me speaking. And so we're not going to go all night like we usually do. We'll go another hour, maybe 90 minutes max. So with that, Kent, thank you so much for 2 hours of your time. It's been a lot of fun.